Drake just executed the most explosive, career-altering nuclear strike in modern music history, live in front of over 600,000 hyperventilating fans. Just hours after Rick Ross's career suffered a catastrophic commercial collapse, Drake hijacked an unannounced late-night live stream to drop an unfiltered, terrifying freestyle that did not just target Rick Ross, but launched a direct, scorched-earth missile straight at the head of JayZ and the entire RocNation empire. Drizzy held up his phone directly to the camera lens, exposed leaked, high-level corporate subpoenas, and sneered into the microphone. GG's, the RocNation subpoenas are getting cleared. I dropped 3 on their head top. These guys are dropping albums, it's like hello and goodbye, and be careful with that reply, because the pen isn't dry. The entire music industry has collapsed into total, unadulterated chaos. Billion-dollar corporate suits are panicking. JayZ's inner circle has been called into an unprecedented emergency midnight summit, and Rick Ross's big boss persona has been permanently, violently erased. Stay locked in until the absolute end of this video, because the secret, leaked federal subpoenas, private streaming data, and Drake's open declaration of war prove that hip-hop's deadliest corporate war has officially begun. To fully comprehend why this live broadcast sent shockwaves through the global corporate landscape, you must understand the dark, secretive chess game played behind closed doors for decades. For over a decade, Drake and Rick Ross presented themselves to the world as an untouchable, brotherly hit-making machine. Classics like Aston Martin Music, Lord Knows, and Gold Roses constructed a public narrative of unbreakable loyalty, shared luxury, and mutual respect. They flew in private jets together, toasted champagne in Miami, and promised the culture that their brotherhood was built on solid ground. However, behind the golden watches, private jet photos, and public camaraderie lay a festering, paranoid tension over who truly controlled the culture. When the entire industry formed a massive, unprecedented coalition against Drake in 2024, Rick Ross was among the very first to pull the dagger from his coat, dropping the scathing diss track, Champagne Moments, endlessly mocking Drake's appearance online and publicly declaring that the OVO empire was crumbling. What the public failed to realize, however, was that Drake knew a terrifying secret that the rest of the world was completely blind to. Rick Ross was not operating alone. He was merely a front-facing soldier backed by massive, shadowy corporate machinery operating behind the scenes. For months, dark rumors swirled through the highest corridors of the music industry that major executive suites and corporate giants like RocNation were quietly orchestrating the downfall of Drake from the shadows. Insiders whispered that high-level suits were actively manipulating streaming algorithms, suppressing promotional reach, leveraging media outlets, and engineering a massive, artificial shift in hip-hop power to dethrone the Sixth God once and for all. While Rick Ross spent the last year boastfully parade marching across social media, showing off his fast food franchises and acting like an independent mogul, Drake remained eerily, terrifyingly silent. But do not mistake silence for weakness. Drizzy was quietly plotting a cold, calculated, multi-layered counterstrike. He patiently weathered the public storms, ignored the superficial internet jabs, and deployed a private team of forensic accountants and legal investigators to track the exact paper trail connecting his rivals directly to RocNation's high-level boardrooms. When Rick Ross's long-awaited, highly hyped album set in stone crashed and burned with an embarrassing, career-ending 19,000 first-week sales, Drake realized that the corporate armor protecting his enemies had shattered into dust. The illusion was gone. The real numbers proved the public was moving on, and the time for subtle subliminal shots was officially dead. The stage was set for an explosion that would forever alter the hierarchy of music royalty. The detonation occurred at precisely 1:17 a.m. Eastern Standard Time during an unannounced, surprise Kick live stream broadcast directly from an undisclosed studio location. While over 600,000 frantic viewers flooded the chat expecting a casual gaming session, the energy in the room instantly turned ice-cold the moment Drake stepped into the frame, dressed in all black, holding a wireless microphone with an expression of pure, unadulterated coldness. Drizzy signaled his DJ to drop a dark, heavy, unreleased instrumental before launching into a relentless, blood-chilling freestyle that tore through the industry's dark secrets. Looking straight into the camera lens with cold-blooded confidence, Drake delivered the lines that instantly sent internet servers into an absolute meltdown. GG's, the RocNation subpoenas are getting cleared. I dropped 3 on their head top. These guys are dropping albums, it's like hello and goodbye. And be careful with that reply, because the pen isn't dry. The chat exploded into an unreadable, lightning-fast blur of panic, shock, and excitement. Drake was not merely mocking RickRoss's historic 19,000-unit sales disaster. He was explicitly calling out JayZ and RocNation by name, alleging that the legendary corporate power structure had been actively using legal subpoenas, media manipulation, and boardroom influence to protect their narrative and sabotage his career. Then came the first catastrophic twist that turned an internet freestyle into an active corporate war. Right in the middle of the broadcast, Drake walked over to his studio desk, picked up an iPad, and held it directly up to the high-definition camera lens. Displayed on the screen were leaked, official legal discovery documents, internal corporate correspondence, and court filings containing official RocNation letterheads. Drake began scrolling through the files live on air, pointing directly at highlighted sections that hinted at secret corporate subpoenas regarding streaming manipulation, payola inquiries, and coordinated media suppression during the height of the 2024 beefs. Drake let out a cold, mocking laugh that echoed through the studio monitors, sneering into the microphone. You thought you were a boss, Ricky? You were just a pawn on their balance sheet. They used you to fight a war you couldn't afford, and now your album sold 19K, and nobody is picking up the phone to save you. The immediate emotional fallout was raw, chaotic, and terrifying. The live stream chat locked up as over 700,000 users tried to comment simultaneously. Within minutes, screen recordings of the moment flooded X, TikTok, and Instagram, amassing over 50 million views in less than an hour. The hashtags #DrakeDiss, #RocNation subpoenas, #Drake vs. JayZ, and #RocNation exposed skyrocketed to the top for global trending spots on X. Leaked group chats from top-level record executives began circulating online, showing absolute panic within major distribution networks. One prominent label head wrote in a leaked text message, "Tell me those aren't the actual discovery filings from the federal inquiry." If Drake is leaking RocNation's internal subpoenas on a public stream, every distribution deal in the city is going to get audited by morning. The scene inside RickRoss's Miami compound was described by insiders as pure, unhinged chaos. According to an anonymous source close to the MMG camp, Ross was frantically watching the stream from his phone while surrounded by his security detail and business managers. Witnesses claim Ross went pale, slamming his glass against the wall as his phone rang off the hook with calls from panicked label investors demanding to know if MMG was legally entangled in the RocNation subpoenas Drake showed on screen. Ross's team tried to initiate an emergency social media blackout, but it was far too late. The entire world had just witnessed the complete, unedited exposure of the industry's darkest secrets. If the world believed Drake's live exposure of internal legal documents was the peak of the madness, they severely underestimated the depth of his strategy. By 3:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the fallout had escalated from a music feud into a full-blown corporate crisis that threatened to engulf the biggest names in the entertainment industry. Prominent radio personalities, legal analysts, and music commentators scrambled to go live to break down the legal and cultural implications of Drake's broadcast. On Hot 97, Ebro Darden looked visibly shaken as he addressed his listeners, stating, "This isn't RapBeef anymore, folks." When an artist of Drake's magnitude holds up actual corporate subpoenas and names RocNation on a live stream, he isn't looking for a rap battle. He is declaring war on the entire corporate infrastructure of the music business. As legal teams across New York, Los Angeles, and Atlanta worked frantically through the night to verify the authenticity of the document shown on stream, a second, mind-blowing twist dropped from high-level industry insiders. Leaked reports from a major entertainment law firm revealed that Drake's legal team had quietly filed massive, multi-million-dollar discovery motions against several third-party marketing firms, media outlets, and streaming strategists tightly connected to RocNation's executive network. The line, "the pen isn't dry," was not just a clever bar about writing diss tracks. It was a direct, chilling warning that Drake is sitting on a massive vault of unreleased songs, financial records, and recorded phone conversations that detail the exact methods used by industry titans to manipulate public perception, fake stream counts, and push artificial narratives. Meanwhile, RickRoss attempted a desperate, highly embarrassing damage control maneuver. He went live on Instagram for brief moments, trying to appear unbothered while standing near his pool. But the emotional tension was undeniable. Ross's hands were visibly trembling, his voice was strained, and his comment section was completely overrun by hundreds of thousands of fans spamming Drake's lyrics. "Hello and goodbye, and careful with that reply. The pen isn't dry." Every single attempt Ross made to pivot back to his usual boss rhetoric was brutally, instantly shut down by the public, who now saw him not as a mogul, but as an exposed asset abandoned by his corporate backing. To make matters infinitely worse for the industry establishment, reports surfaced that senior legal representatives for RocNation were forced to hold an emergency video conference at 4 a.m. to address the public relations fallout. This marked one of the extremely rare moments in modern music history where JayZ's legendary, bulletproof corporate machine was forced into a purely defensive position by a single, rogue artist using an unscripted live stream to bypass traditional media filters entirely. The corporate narrative control had completely shattered. By sunrise, the global music landscape had completely fractured into two fiercely warring camps, creating a digital divide that dominated every news outlet, podcast, and social media platform on Earth. The drama was no longer confined to hip-hop blogs. It was being thoroughly dissected on financial news programs, corporate media outlets, and tech platforms worldwide. The internet was in a state of absolute, unhinged warfare. At OVO_tactical. Drake just pulled off the greatest power move in the history of music. He didn't drop a music video or do a fake interview. He went live, held up RocNation's own legal subpoenas, and told them their time is up. The pen is not dry, and the industry is shaking in their boots. At cultureanalyst_NYC. This is the absolute end of the hidden corporate puppetry in hip-hop. For decades, guys like JayZ and RocNation operated behind closed doors while front-facing artists took the heat. Drake just dragged the entire corporate boardroom out into the light for 600,000 people to see live. At Rock_Dynasty_fan. Y'all are getting completely manipulated by Drake. He's just deflecting because he got pushed into a corner during the beef. Bringing up JayZ and RocNation because RickRoss sold 19K is pure, unadulterated desperation. RocNation is a billion-dollar empire. Drake can't touch them. The sheer panic within major record labels reached an all-time high. On major industry podcasts, top A&RS managers and entertainment attorneys spoke anonymously about the terrifying precedent set by Drake's broadcast. One prominent executive confessed, "What Drake did last night changes the rules of engagement forever." In the past, if a label or a corporate entity wanted to suppress an artist, they controlled the radio stations, the blogs, and the playlists. Drake proved that a superstar with a direct line to a stream can bypass every single gatekeeper and destroy a billion-dollar brand's reputation in 30 seconds. Nobody is safe anymore. Former associates of both camps were paralyzed with fear. Artists affiliated with RocNation went completely dark on social media, terrified that mentioning the situation would result in Drake releasing their names or documents next. RickRoss's comment sections became a graveyard of his former glory, as even his most loyal supporters struggled to defend an artist who had just taken a double knockout, a catastrophic 19,000 album sales flop, and a live, televised exposure of his alleged corporate strings. Just when the world believed the situation had reached its absolute boiling point, a final, earth-shattering twist emerged from the depths of the music industry that threatens to tear the entire establishment apart at the seams. At 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, rumors began wildly circulating through top-tier entertainment law circles in New York and Los Angeles that Drake's team is preparing to drop a surprise, full-length project tentatively titled The Subpoenas. According to high-level insider leaks, the project is not just an album. It is a conceptual, audio documentary diss project containing actual recorded telephone conversations, detailed financial breakdowns, and direct, named diss tracks targeting several of the most powerful corporate executives, board members, and legacy artists in the music business today. Sources close to the OVO camp claim that the tracklist features direct, brutal responses to every single artist and executive who worked behind the scenes to sabotage Drake over the last 2 years, with an entire track reportedly dedicated exclusively to detailing his side of his complex, toxic history with JayZ and RocNation. Neither JayZ nor official representatives for RocNation have issued a formal public statement yet, but insider reports confirm that an unprecedented emergency legal injunction is currently being drafted by corporate attorneys in an attempt to block the release of any unapproved audio recordings or internal documents. Will JayZ break his legendary silence and step back into the booth to deliver a musical response? Or will RocNation resort to massive, high-stakes legal warfare to suppress the subpoenas project before it hits streaming platforms? How will RickRoss possibly survive being crushed between the two most powerful entities in music history? The battle lines have been drawn in concrete, the corporate facade is completely gone, and the pen is far, far from dry. This has been without a doubt the most shocking, high-stakes, and historic corporate warfare we have ever broken down on this channel. Now I want to hear directly from you, the realest, most informed community on YouTube. Did Drake just execute the ultimate power move of the century by exposing RocNation's subpoenas live on stream? Or is he playing an extremely dangerous game with corporate titans? Do you think JayZ will actually step into the studio to respond to Drake's direct challenge? Or will RocNation fight this entirely behind closed doors in court? Is Rick Ross's career permanently over after taking a 19,000 sales flop and being exposed on streams simultaneously? Drop your wildest theories, deep analyses, and predictions in the comments section down below right now. I am going to be down in the comments replying to the absolute best responses all day long. If your mind was completely blown by this breakdown, smash that like button immediately. It helps the algorithm push this emergency update to real music fans all across the globe. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell right now. We are tracking this historic war live, 24 hours a day, and the second JayZ breaks his silence, RocNation files a legal injunction, or Drake drops the subpoenas project, we will be dropping an exclusive, emergency follow-up video that you cannot afford to miss. Thank you for watching, stay locked in, and I will see you in the very next video.